Tesla Autopilot gets better and better. January 12, 2023. After about a year of silence, Tesla released a new version of its vehicle safety report, providing interesting new data. The voluntarily published quarterly reports give us glimpses of how Autopilot improves vehicle safety. The new report contains reviewed and updated data about the number of miles driven per one accident registered when using Autopilot technology, not using Autopilot technology, and the US average as a background. New numbers for the period 2018-2021 are different. Higher than before because Tesla discovered issues in the old data. Some accidents were counted more than once. Without the duplicated data, the results are actually better than previously. An important thing is that Tesla counts all accidents, regardless of the cause. Despite that, more than 35% of all Autopilot crashes occur when the Tesla vehicle is rear-ended by another vehicle. The company says, "Let's get into the details." Tesla Vehicle Safety Report Q3 2022. According to Tesla, the number of miles driven per one accident registered, when using Autopilot technology, is consistently increasing, which indicates that cars are getting safer to use. In Q3, the company noted one accident per 6.26 million miles driven, a 13% increase year-over-year. The record result was noted in Q1, at 6.57 million miles driven. What is really important is that using the same methodology, the result is almost 2 times higher than 4 years ago. 3.35 million miles per one accident in Q3 2018. Without using Autopilot technology, Tesla vehicles statistically note more accidents. In Q3 2022, it was 1 accident per 1.71 million miles driven. 8% more than a year ago. There is a significant difference between the two modes of driving, with or without Autopilot, and the difference is increasing, as there is not that much progress in the case of driving without Autopilot. However, we must note that the two datasets should not be compared against each other. Besides a brief look to have some idea of the numbers, it's important to note that the results are comparable only within a particular category. Autopilot or without Autopilot, not between the categories, as the input data might be widely different. Like simple highway driving or complex city driving. In other words, we can only see whether the active safety systems are improving over time. And it's also only a rough comparison. But we can't compare Autopilot to non-Autopilot driving. We assume that the proper use of Autopilot improves safety. But Tesla's report does not allow us to evaluate the difference. And below we attached a full chart with all numbers provided by the manufacturer plus NHTSA and FHWA data about the average distance between an automobile crash in the United States. The difference is pretty huge. But once again, we should really compare the numbers directly. The US average includes also a much older vehicle fleet, with less safety systems, which alone is a big factor. The US average currently appears to be almost a third better than 4 years ago. 0.652 million miles versus 0.492 million miles. Tesla has its own version of the chart. Important factors. Data for each setting might be collected at different driving scenarios, like simple highway driving or complex city driving, which makes the results incomparable between the categories. Results might be affected by various factors, including seasonality, reduced daylight, weather conditions, less driving during lockdown. NHTSA and FHWA average for the US updated rarely includes all cars. Also old. Source reposted and summarized from Mark Kane at InsideEVS.com. My take: Tesla is the safest vehicle on the road, and it's getting safer and safer all the time.